Hello everyone, welcome to the 2018 Winter Wonderland, South Dakota Libertarian Party Convention. We're more free market and pro-Second Amendment than the GOP and more anti-offensive war and pro-civil liberty than the Democrats. Before we get things rolling, I just want to take a quick recap on the year, kind of go over some things that we did, some things that we want to do in this coming year. Kind of go down that road. Our main focus over the years has been adding more people to the state LP, trying to recruit people to run for office, trying to form county parties. For the last year, we've continually added people to the LP while all the other parties have actually lost people. So if you go back, you can check this out on the Secretary of State's website. I think it's just a good indicator that people within the other parties are getting upset. A year ago, all the other parties continually lose people. We have gained people, including the people that register as independents. So I say we keep that up. As of yesterday, we're sitting at a total of 1,706 registered Libertarian voters in the state of South Dakota. It is an all-time record for the state of South Dakota. So again, whatever we're doing, we do need to keep it up. Stick to our principles. Obviously, the other parties aren't doing good work. As far as getting people to run for office, Greg and I were talking about this earlier. We are at an all-time high, from what we found anyway. We got Jason Hill running out in District 6, 28B in western South Dakota. That's out in the Belle Fourche area. Greg Baldwin, he's running for District 617 down by Wakanda. Out in Fall River County Commissioner, it's out by Hot Springs. We got Randy, he goes by Uriah Llewellyn. He actually ran before out in Colorado when he used to live there. Myself, I'm running for House District 6. Darrell Root, running for House District 4. George Hendrickson, running for U.S. Congress. And then we got C.J. Abernathy running for governor, and Steve Novotny running for governor as well. And Gideon Oaks, running for District 30, out in the western part there. The other thing, and I believe Lisa's going to be talking about this a little bit, we did have our first ever county party forum here in Minnehaha County, chaired by Lisa. And Lisa, it's Ivan's the treasurer, right? Yes. Yep, okay. Back in December, we did put on our first ever food drive. Our mindset, you know, we preach this message of volunteerism all the time within the Libertarian Party. So we wanted to start doing things of that nature. We did have a successful food drive. We plan this year to have it bigger and better, just to continue to grow on that. So, last couple of things here just to start off. There are a couple events I want to make everybody aware of. Dave Demarest, he was one of the guys that was going to come here and speak. He's a Region 6 rep for the Libertarian National Party. Couldn't make it tonight, obviously, because of the weather, but he's a part of the group, The Roads to Freedom, and they're putting on an event at the end of May down in Omaha with some very good speakers there. I don't know, has anyone ever heard of Ron Paul? He's going to be one of the speakers there. He's actually going to be the main speaker there, so that should be very good. If anyone wants to plan on going down to that, I believe a few of us are going to work on that to go down there and help out and see that. So. The other event I want to put on everybody's radar, we have it booked already. It's at the beginning of October is when we're going to be having it here in Sioux Falls. Some of you may have heard of Chris Ann Hall. CJ and I were actually just talking about her this morning. What she is, she's a constitutional attorney. She also travels around the country putting on seminars, teaching people. But she's going to be here in Sioux Falls on October 1st, teaching about state sovereignty and the role of the federal government and how things are supposed to work. So what we're hoping to do with that is get actually people that are in the legislature right now, get them to come to that along with the general public. Good chance to educate people. So as we look forward to this year, we do plan on to put on more events, become more active, help out with campaigns that we got going on across the country, or across the state. That's one thing that's obviously going to be huge, is giving support to the people that are running. And then obviously add more people to the party. So, like I said, I just wanted to do a little welcome on that. Now what we get to is the fun part, or not so much as the bylaws. So what I'll do here, and as far as this goes, we do a voice vote on this. So whoever is a dues-paying member votes on these, and that includes whether you're a dues-paying member to the state or if you're, a national card member of the national party, you can also vote on it. So what I'll do right now, if whoever is included in one of those two, if you just want to raise your hand, and I'll pass out our bylaws to be out here.
I'll take 3.
By 2 memberships, right?
What are you guys going to do?
Yeah, we gotta do this. What's the cost?
So for the state, it's $5 per
$5 for the state.
member.
Okay, good. Everybody bust out your cash.
Throw it my way, I'm the treasurer.
Dues-paying member?
I will accept change.
Well, now I got 10, somebody else to pay 5.
I want that at 20, so we'll have to get it out.
Yep, we'll do that.
That's right, we always have a close line to
All right, we can take care of some of that stuff after too, guys.
Wait a minute. Go ahead.
So the way we'll do this, again, it's a voice vote. I'll read through it real quick. Whoever's in favor, give a yes. All opposed will say no, obviously. So, first thing to vote on, officers, executive committee. We had a little changes here, decided to have a little change to add what would be do a little switch with a membership director and a secretary, just with their roles and stuff. They were kind of getting mixed up. But first one, like you see there, the membership director shall be responsible for keeping records of the party membership, to keep up-to-date records of the state party membership and national membership, and a separate list of registered libertarians in South Dakota, their name, address, email, if possible, for records and notifications of party activities. All in favor, vote yes.
Aye.
All opposed? Next one, the secretary. This is to add this secretary spot. Shall be responsible for communicating activities of the executive committee and state meeting to the membership. The secretary shall keep minutes and records as needed for recording the activities of the executive committee and meeting, and communicate these to the members. Also saving records for future use and referencing purposes. All in favor of adding that? All opposed? All right, next one. Conventions and meetings. Section 1 of Article 4. Annual convention and party meeting. The annual meeting shall be held at a date, time, and place determined by the executive committee, with the provision that the date should normally be during the period between. We propose to change that, cross out, we'd take out the June, instead go April to June 30th there rather than August. So the underline that you see there is what would get added. The other part is what you would take out. The annual state convention must be held at least 1 week before the National Libertarian Party State Convention. All in favor? All opposed? All right, Section 2 of Conventions and Meetings. Notice of the convention. Notices of the convention will be communicated by any and or all means deemed reasonable to all registered libertarian members of South Dakota and other registered libertarians in South Dakota, when such names and addresses are known at least 14 days before the convention date. Such notice shall include the date, time, place, and of notice of the annual convention. Such notice shall include the date, time, place, and any proposed actions to be taken by the membership. In addition, press releases sorry, that's
It's not working very well.
press releases of notice of the annual convention shall be submitted to major newspapers in at least Aberdeen, Pierre, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, at least 14 days in advance of the state annual convention. All in favor? All opposed? All right, coming to the end here. So Article 6, the finance and accounting, budget and membership. The budget and membership shall run concurrently and begin with January 1st and end with December 31st of each year. All in favor? All opposed? All right. Section 2, disbursements. All disbursements shall be made by check from a checking account authorized by the executive committee. What we'd be adding is endorsement of checks, payments, withdrawals, deposits, or other transactions shall be made by the treasurer or the secretary in the treasurer's absence. Any payments by other executive committee members will be of their own accord to be submitted to the executive committee and subject to approved reimbursement. All in favor? All opposed? All right. Section 3, borrowing. The Libertarian Party of South Dakota may not borrow funds without unanimous concurrence of all members of the executive committee. So adding any new bank account, loan, lease, investment account, real estate transaction, or other financial account requires the approval of the acting chair, vice chair, treasurer, and secretary, which shall be recorded in the minutes and signed by the chair and recorder of the minutes, a copy of which is to be submitted to the proper banking business entity involved. All in favor? All opposed? All right, last one. So looking to add changes, Section 4, changes to members listed on account shall be made by the treasurer or secretary in treasurer's absence with signed letter of approval of the chair or vice chair in the chair's absence. All in favor? All opposed? All right. So what I'd like to do next here, Lisa was going to talk a little bit about forming a county party. Just kind of tell everybody what it's about if they'd be interested in doing it coming up in the future.
So I just wanted to talk for a couple minutes about just a couple things we've done with Minnehaha County. And we started out because James had come up from Iowa. He was the Iowa State Chair. And he was talking about being kind of a county local affiliate. And we, at the time, Ivan and Tracy had started doing some campaigning with the Gary Johnson Group. And that was really how, I had gotten involved, my husband and a few others had gotten involved, is because they had just kind of stepped forward and started just doing something. And at the county level or at the local level for the city of Sioux Falls. And so James had suggested, why don't after the election you guys keep this momentum and turn this into a county party. And so we started looking at doing that, and it turned out to be a pretty simple procedure, a pretty simple process. And so I've got some forms in the back that's on the table. You can take a look at those. But it just kind of goes through a little step-by-step of an online form that you just fill out on the Secretary of State site. And when we had questions on that and called them, they were more than happy to help us with that and just give us ideas on how we could, how we would fill that out or how we would complete that. And then also just going on, this is where you would go on and do your filing and stuff of campaign finances. So it's a great place to just be able to put that information out there. All of a sudden you're a county party. The only thing that we needed to do in the beginning was have a chair and a treasurer. It was a very complicated process. We sat down and ripped a coaster in half. It was very much by chance, but we really started very small. And since then, we've been just getting some people together, having get-togethers, and it's grown exponentially each time. It's been nice to have a social aspect to it. So even when, for me, I have that fear of missing out on things. So I love that community that it's already started, because you kind of have that when you get together, you want to be a part of it. And it's people coming together on the basis of their same ideals and principles and that message of liberty. So it's been neat to do that. So we've grown together socially. Organizationally, we're just kind of starting a little bit more organizationally to want to start some meetings here and there, and things like supporting and launching candidates in local races. We've seen across, like Aaron said, we've seen a lot of candidates coming forward and really being successful in making those runs, and we want to be able to do that at city council level, utilities commissioner, things like that, and be able to support candidates. I think being able to organize locally but all stay connected to the state party has been a great idea, because we are still under that leadership of the state party. So you're not really going rogue as a county party, you're just getting into more of a local level of it. And then also we talked about some things we want to do organizationally. There are some speakers that might be coming in. Actually, the speakers that weren't able to come today are going to be willing to come up. They've all said that they're going to be willing to come up at other times and do some educational events and things. So we're excited about that. And then just be able to help launch other county affiliates across the state. So anything that we can do to support that. One of the other things that's been really neat is there are people from Iowa that have that run really successful county parties that have reached out and that we've reached out to and can talk with and get ideas. So we appreciate that. Just learning from people who are already doing that. And then also some service projects. So Aaron mentioned the food drive, so we just kind of helped participate in the food drive. We had to have done river cleanup, and that was a big thing for us, because Penn Jillette says that there's great joy in helping people, but there's no joy in doing it at gunpoint. The idea of if you want to serve and you want government to not have to do that, you have to walk out there and do it yourself. And if that's the face that we're putting forward as a county and state Libertarian Party, then I think we're successful in that message. And so there's ideas there. We've got ideas as far as tables at different events, so you can, like even the local events, I'm thinking of downtown block parties in Sioux Falls, or Hot Harley Nights. You can have, you can serve beer at a little tent, and that's just a small way of serving your community, but also having that county party name out there too. And then I just want to also say a couple thanks as far as us getting the county party started. A lot of that was Ivan and Tracy starting that and getting people together. James came up from Iowa and really talked a lot about servant leadership, and that was a great way that we were able to grab a hold of that and start asking that question of how can we start serving our community, instead of just how do we go forward as libertarians or how do we debate better or something like that. It's really how do you serve the people that you really want to be around in your community. And then also just being appreciative of the people that have gone before us and really laid that foundation. And I was saying that to Daryl earlier this week, that just the work that has been done across the state for years and years and years, there's a good launching point right now because of the work that's already been done. And so the idea of being able to launch from that, to stand on the shoulders of what that foundation has already been, I think we're poised to do that. And so we're excited about what's coming forward. Thanks.
All right. So the next thing here, one thing I forgot to mention on that last one, we'll be putting something out on social media as far as delegates go. So when this video does get posted, for anybody that sees it, please contact us if you want to become a delegate. A few people have already, but we still do need more. Once you contact us, we'll get you the proper information and get you signed up for that. So one thing I did want to touch on as well, a gentleman that wanted to be here, he's actually running for the national chair spot with the Libertarian Party, Joshua Smith. He's down in Texas right now at their national convention, but he's going to be doing a video, and then he'll be getting that sent to us as well, asking for his vote come national convention time. So what I'd like to get into right now for the candidates who are here, whoever would like to come up and speak, say why they're running, get into that a little bit, and ask for their vote. This is what we're going to get into right now. So I figured I would start things off since I'm up here anyway. Again, as I said before, I'm running for District 6. That includes Harrisburg, T, Lenox, and then the southern part of Sioux Falls down there. So for those that don't know me, again, my name's Aaron Allward. I'm originally from Arlington, South Dakota. I currently live in Harrisburg, South Dakota. I'm a graduate of both Dakota State University and the University of South Dakota. What I do for a living right now, I'm a recruiter or a headhunter. I have an outstanding wife. Her name's Callie. She's a school teacher here in Sioux Falls in the Sioux Falls School District. And then we have two awesome little boys. One who's 5, his name is Jax, and then Cade, he's a 4-year-old. He's the terror of the two, but love them both great boys. I just wanted to take a few minutes here tonight to introduce myself, get into a few points why I'm running, and why I'm asking for the vote come November down in District 6. So, start things off, this may sound cliche. People probably say this all the time, but the main reason I am running is because I truly do care about the future generations that are coming up behind us in the state of South Dakota. My 2 little boys are a part of that future. I don't want them or any other person living in a state that has a government that continues to grow, continues to be paternalistic, and continues to be beholden or entrenched within the federal government, where the federal government's dictating all the moves that the state makes. I've been complaining about these issues for a good amount of years. So during the 2016 election of Gary Johnson, like Lisa had mentioned there, I met Ivan, some other people that were helping with the campaign. I decided it was time to quit my complaining and try to actually do something about it. So if elected, I'll do my best to do these 3 things. And some of you may have seen these on my Facebook page already, but number 1, focus on more of a local and state power. I want to get the federal government out of the picture, dwindle that down as much as we possibly can. I want to help bring back as much power to the state of South Dakota as possible. From there, as much power back to the local level within the communities of South Dakota. In my opinion, no one knows how to run their life better than the individual himself. Daryl doesn't know how to run his life, or doesn't know how to run Greg's life better than, and the other way around. So just getting to the point of where, hey, I know how to run my life the best, better than anybody else out there, giving that people that power. You know, that goes to say the people of South Dakota, they do know what's better for themselves compared to the people out in Washington, D.C. Same can be said for, you know, us here in Sioux Falls or down in Harrisburg, out in T, knowing what's better than the people out in Pierre or some other district. Let those people make those decisions. Number 2 would be more efficiency and transparency. As we've recently seen with our state budget now exploding, a couple of points here that I know other candidates are I am pro-peace, I'm pro-tolerance, I'm pro-individualism, pro-free markets, and pro-limited government. And with that being said, I thank you all for your time and in coming in tonight and considering, and for the consideration, I do ask for your vote tonight. Thank you.
I didn't really want to give too much of a candidate speech. I really wanted to just kind of promote Libertarian Party and Libertarian principles. I'm anyway Greg Baldwin, running for District 17 State House. I've been married for about 10 years now. I've had the same job for about 8 years. I'm a welder by trade, and then recently became the night shift supervisor at my company. And so to me, I became a Libertarian in 2009 is when I first registered as a Libertarian. I didn't actually join the state party or the national party till 2016 during the election season. And that was the first time I had ever went to a state convention and gotten involved in the party. And it was a pretty low turnout for the event. We became pretty much a coalition of the willing. The guys that were there, we all kind of took up the mantle and took up spots in the party. And one thing I noticed before was that retention, it seemed like it was an issue. A lot of the guys that have come and gone within the party, you know, they're not around anymore. So now, over the last couple of years, I feel like we've kind of stuck with it, and a lot of the guys that got involved in 2016, here we are, we're still here, and I know I'm going to continue with the party as long as it takes that we are a major wrecking force, or force to be reckoned with in the state of South Dakota. I'm committed to the cause, and I want us to grow and win elections and have, you know, and thank you to the thousands of people that showed up today, braved the elements and showed up during our blizzard, and you know, so that's awesome. You know, for me personally, I'm anti-war. I wasn't always that way. 2001, I was, you know, really into, when 9/11 happened, I was, totally patriotic in the sense that, going to war, that was necessary at the time. I believed that Iraq was necessary, although I don't hold those same opinions necessarily today. 17 years of perpetual warfare is enough. It's time to start changing that. $7 trillion wasted. Our debt is massive, 21 trillion and counting. Nobody seems to want to do anything about that. I'm pro personal freedom. And that's a real big issue for me. South Dakota, since I'm running for the legislature, according to the Cato Institute, we were talking about this a little bit earlier, overall, South Dakota has a ranking of number 4 out of 50 as far as freedom goes. So that sounds great. Economic freedom, we were actually ranked number 1 this year. I believe the statistics were up to date as far as this year. Maybe it was 2017, I'm not sure. But as far as personal freedom goes, we were ranked 46 out of 50. So how we're even number 4 in overall freedom is kind of beyond me. But personal freedom, we are doing terribly. And that's not going to change under Republican control of the legislature. We need to get involved and start changing that. There are things that are done great in South Dakota, economic-wise, really. We have a balanced budget amendment. We have term limits for the legislature. Those are great things. I wish they would carry over to the national level because that's really needed. People refuse to make the hard decisions. It's all about getting reelected, buying votes, special interests, crony capitalism, That's what our system of government has turned into, and we as the people need to take that back. And so, this is the first step. We're trying to build something and grow something here. Trying not to ramble too much. But personal freedom, I'm an advocate of that. I am, pro-cannabis, medical, recreational, agriculturally, we need that in South Dakota. There's no reason our farmers shouldn't be able to grow hemp. Hemp can make thousands of products. There's no reason in 2018 we're even discussing the issue at this point. It should be a done deal, and for many states it is a done deal, and so we need to, I'm running on those kind of issues. Civil assets forfeiture does happen in South Dakota, believe it or not. I've seen counties take it to a level that if you have a car parked outside your house and it is unregistered, the county will seize that car. You're seizing people's property, regardless of whether that is licensed by the state or not. You're coming on my property and you're stealing my property. I could keep going, but that kind of goes along the lines of one of the quotes I wrote down was, just because you don't take an interest in politics doesn't mean that politics doesn't take an interest in you. And so I believe that a lot of people got their head in their sand and they're not really paying attention, and this has gone on for decades. And so that's why we're at a point that we're at now, is that people haven't paid attention. They're not paying attention. Unless something is happening to you, then you don't think about those things. If you're... I don't want to get too crazy, but, city councils, town board ordinances, those things, all those rules, it's like our chair stated, they're writing rules for you. If I get elected, I don't want to write rules for you. I want to go to peer and be your advocate. I want to limit government, reduce government, bring more freedom to people, allow people to make their own choices. If you're not harming or violating anyone's rights, then I don't believe that we should violate your rights. Preemptive right violations, basically, because we're afraid of what you may do with your freedom. We're going to go ahead and take that away from you. Another, quick quote, and I'll end it there. I don't want to ramble too much, but Thomas Jefferson explained government is like a fire. If small, contained, and well tended, it is most useful and beneficial. But if it's left large, expansive, and neglected, is most destructive. And so people haven't been paying attention, and they've let it grow. They're stuck in the two-party mentality. It's either Republican or Democrat, and that's how they're going to vote. And so what ends up happening is every 4 or 8 years, or however you want to look at it, the power just switches hands, but nothing ever really changes, you know. We're against it if a certain person is elected into office, but once our guy's elected into office, it's all right. It's double standard. It happens all the time. And, you know, I'd like to grow the state party, really, like I said, really become a force. Let's get people elected. Let's get some different opinions. You know, there's a lot of seats that are running essentially unopposed in South Dakota, only Democrat, or, you know, only Republican candidates. The people don't have a choice in those situations, you know. So that's why I'm running, and that's why I hope everyone else considers us, and, you know, will look into us and hopefully join us in the future. Thanks.
All right, next up, we got Darrell Root running for District 6.
Okay, I'm Darrell Root, and I am running for District 4, not District 6. I like to write, I hate to speak, however, if you get me on a hot topic debate, I can ramble on forever. So, it's going to be short and sweet. I've been asked to comment on why I'm running for District 4 House. Quite honestly, it's not a position that I have an overwhelming desire to obtain. I certainly don't look forward to driving to Pierre during South Dakota winters. I'm the type of person who would much rather sit in the privacy of my own home, behind a computer screen, putting out informative stories and sharing the modicum of wisdom I've been able to gather in my nearly 60 years of life. So why would I give that up? Simplest answer, the people of this state. I believe in the farmers. Some choose to raise feeder cattle, while others choose dairy cattle or sheep or goats or other varied livestock. Some raise corn or beans or one of the many other grains found in South Dakota, which should include hemp. They all have a unique story with their own set of family and business situations. Politicians don't sit at the farmer's table every night. How can they possibly know what is best for each farmer? They can't. I believe in the state's businesses, whether a car dealer, a factory owner, a retail outlet center, a beautician, or any of the other thousands of industries in this state. Only they can know what is best for them at any given point in time. Can government? Of course not. I believe in the local schools. They have to deal with those with special needs and advanced students, as well as those we may call common everyday students. Each student is a unique individual who needs to be instructed in the way he or she can best be taught. Can this be done from here? I don't think so. I also believe in families. Each family has its own special setup with one-of-a-kind situations. Some have, well, many are two-parent households. Many are also single-parent households. Some have aging parents living with them, while others don't. Some have special needs children with learning or physical disabilities, while others are thankful to be clear of those challenges. Among the hundreds of thousands of households in South Dakota, how can the leaders at the Capitol even pretend to know what's best in all situations? The obvious answer is they can't. Too many of us have been brainwashed into thinking we need more and more government. I, however, believe the overwhelming majority of us are capable of accomplishing things far beyond our wildest dreams. I believe we are capable of overcoming any obstacle put before us if given the chance and a clear road unimpeded by government intervention. I also believe, when left unfettered, that path to accomplishment becomes quicker and easier for us all. So again, why am I running? Because while government, under the right circumstances, can have a legitimate role to play, that role should be limited and as small as possible. There you have it, some of the reasons for seeking office. As my motto says, your life, your rights, your own. Thank you. Be free and strong.
All right, so what we're going to do next, Gideon Oaks is running for District 30 Senate out west. He sent a video, so I'm just going to pull that up here real quick, and then Jason Hill, who's running for District 28B out in Belfouche, he sent a video as well, too. I'll start with Gideon's here.
Good evening, fellow libertarians. I'm Gideon Oakes, and I'm asking for your nomination for State Senator from District 30. I'm so sorry I can't be with you tonight in Sioux Falls, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you. Tonight, as we gather in our respective areas to work toward advancing the message of freedom, our executive branch continues its decades-long policy of interference in the affairs of foreign countries. As a nation, we have not declared war since 1942, yet we have never ceased to act as the world's police, spending endless tax dollars on so-called defense operations. It's propelled us $21 trillion into debt. Unfortunately, with the current two-party duopoly, there's not a damn thing that we endless libertarians can do right now at this moment to stop this travesty. So let's focus on what we can do. To me, our mission is simple. We must work to get solid, liberty-minded candidates elected, both to the State House and to Congress. The biggest objection I hear in talking to people about my own race is never, "No, Gideon, I don't agree with you." In fact, it's quite the opposite. The people are hungry, starving for the message of liberty, but they just don't believe that the Libertarian Party has what it takes to make a difference. And that is why what we are doing tonight and in the next 6 months is so important. From now until November 6th, we must get to work electing qualified Libertarian candidates. I tell you, the people are ready. They understand that liberty is worth fighting for. What we must do now is prove to them that the Libertarian Party is not only the standard bearer of the message of liberty, but that we are capable of winning races and turning our great message into actual policy. Another thing I can tell you, this will not be an easy venture. It's going to require some very hard work. I'm talking sweat, I'm talking sunburns, and I'm talking tears of frustration as we fight against apathy and those who would rather have their lives dictated to them by a bureaucracy. We often feel accomplished when we sit at home and post Ron Paul quotes on Facebook. I know I do. But we must step up our game. This summer is our opportunity to prove ourselves. We must get out and talk to people face to face and show them that we do have what it takes. So tonight, I challenge you. Find your nearest candidate and offer your help. If they don't immediately have something for you to do, offer to host a coffee and cookies meetup for them. Everybody likes cookies. I challenge you to knock on doors for your candidate and hand out literature. I challenge you to make phone calls. I challenge you to walk parade routes. I challenge you to put a sign in your yard or a bumper sticker on your car. And I know we're the party of fiscal conservatism, but I challenge you to consider donating to your candidate and helping them raise money to increase their exposure. Races are won through hard work, and by connecting with voters to show them that they actually agree with the Libertarian Party just as much, or even more so than their actual own party. And just as races are won through hard work, I hate to say it, but races are lost through laziness and apathy. So again, I challenge you to make a difference. We're all part of this party because we believe in the ideals of small, limited government and individual freedoms. I won't take up your time tonight talking about specific positions other than to say, as a state senator, I will consistently vote to protect the rights of every South Dakotan. I will make you proud, both on the campaign trail and in the State House. I'm Gideon Oakes, and I'm running to be the first Libertarian state senator in South Dakota. The first of many, I hope. I'm proud of our message. I'm proud of our party, and I'm ready to go to work. Are you? Thank you, and God bless.
Thanks, Gideon.